Hi, everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Count. I'm your host, Jeihan, and today it's just you and me for another solo episode. I haven't done a solo episode since my very first episode a couple of months ago, so I'm really excited to be here and share a few little things that are both common themes that have come up in podcasts and also want to share my perspective and things that's happening as well. Firstly, though, I want to say a massive thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your messages and your feedback. It generally means more than you know. When I first launched this podcast, I didn't really know what to expect. I went feet first and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to figure it out as I go. And I've definitely done that. And what surprised me the most, though, is how much I've absolutely loved it and love the interviews. It's not just the epic conversations that I've been having with guests, but the growth I've felt within myself. And that's through the showing up, the leaning in, the learning and refining as I go. So today I want to talk through a few of those lessons that I've learned so far and also share some common themes that I've been noticing, not just within the podcast conversations, but also outside that, whether it's chat at networking events and with clients and with friends, or even just in passing conversation. I want to break down what's been coming up and how I've been reflecting on it and how it also might apply to you. One of my guests recently asked me, what's my intention behind the podcast? And I realized it's pretty simple. I want this space to feel like an ongoing real conversation, a place where I show up consistently and not perfectly, and I'll talk through that in a moment, a space where we can grow together. And my goal is to release an episode every week. And I'll be honest, that feels a little bit stretchy. If you know me though, I'm all here for growth and I'm all here for the stretch. So bear with me as we grow through this together. So I've got a little lesson that has happened in real time in regards to me recording this solo episode. So I am a little bit of a perfectionist in different scenarios. And with the podcast, I've been going into the studio where I have someone set everything up for me. And for the solo ones, I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to attempt to set it up at home. I've got the microphone. I think I've got the right things, to be honest. And yesterday, nothing was working for me. I wanted it to look and feel a particular way. However, I was like, do you know what? It's progress over perfection. The main aim right now is for me to release an episode every week, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So if it looks and feels a little bit different to previous weeks, that's the reason why. I'm learning as I go. So as I continue to do with the solo episodes, I'll refine that. So anyway, I thought I'd just give you that little lesson there. One of the other biggest lessons I've learned so far is how much growth happens when you embrace being a beginner. And because when you're starting something new, and for me, like this podcast, you're going to cringe at yourself. You're going to listen back to the early episodes and think, why did I say that? And yep, I've had plenty of those moments. I listen to each episode, sometimes multiple times, for editing and for marketing, and I pick up on everything that I say, especially when I notice I have this little filler phrase. It's, oh, I love that. And I say it all the time. It's like my verbal safety net when I'm processing or buying time to think of the next question. And now that I've pointed it out, you won't be able to unhear it. So sorry in advance for that one. But that's the thing. That's the part of it, right? Starting something new means you're going to have cringeworthy moments. It's how you learn. It's how you refine. And you don't wait until you're perfect. You build confidence by being in it, by taking the action and adjusting as you go. And that leads me perfectly into one of the other common themes that's been coming up, not just in my episodes, but in the conversations everywhere lately. And it's this idea of waiting for permission. It's like we've all been conditioned to believe that we need someone else to give us the green light, to want more, to change direction, to take up space, permission to pivot careers, or permission to speak up, or permission to slow down and do things differently. And here's the personal part. I've realized the reason I've been noticing this theme so clearly is because it's been a reflection of what's happening internally for me too. So conversations and circumstances, they always reflect back where you're at. And I noticed it so clearly the other week when I was sitting on the couch mid-interview with Nadine, and she's on my episode next week. So make sure that you check that one out. And I remember thinking, like, fuck, I am playing it so small. Like, I still fully haven't stepped into my power and doing everything that I want to do. And yes, I've started the podcast and I'm showing up more online and I'm networking and I'm building my coaching business and I'm building the corporate business. And yes, I have a lot happening in my world at the moment. And still, I was sitting there going, I'm still playing it small. I could feel it. There's this something in me holding me back. And that's the thing. We project out what's unresolved within us, and the world mirrors it back in the conversations we have, the people we attract, even the opportunities we noticed. For me, it's about fully owning my voice. And it's not just showing up when it feels safe, but showing up fully, even when it feels a little messy or uncomfortable. And maybe you're feeling the same way. Maybe you're ticking the boxes, doing all the things, but there's still a gap between who you are and who you know you're capable of being. And maybe, like me, you've been waiting for permission to go bigger, permission to ask for more, permission to take up space unapologetically. Here's how you can spot it. And you might be waiting for permission if you keep asking for advice, even though deep down you know the answer. You second guess your decision because you're afraid of disappointing others. You shrink your goals and you downplay your wins. You feel a bit stuck or frustrated, but can't quite name why. Here's the shift. No one is coming to give you permission. That's something only you can give yourself. And how do you do that? Firstly, you get radically honest. You strip away the noise and what do you actually want, not what others expect of you. Secondly, you give yourself micro permissions every day. You say no when you need to. You speak up even if your voice shakes. And third, you surround yourself with people who lift you up and reflect back the boldest version of you. And that ties into another big lesson, alignment. And I feel like alignment is a bit of a buzzword at the moment. Like, are you living your true life and are you living in alignment? So I want to break it down a little bit further for you as well. Because again, this is something that's reflecting in my life at the moment. So alignment isn't about ticking off a checklist. It's when your external world reflects what's true for you internally, your values, your vision, your energy. You can feel when you're out of alignment, you're drained or you're pushing upstream. You're going through the motions, but wondering why something feels off. And I get it. I've been there. That was me a few years ago. Everything looked great from the outside, career, relationship, life planned out. But internally, I felt heavy and disconnected. It wasn't until I stopped and asked myself, is this actually what I want? That things began to shift. And here's the thing, you don't need to wait for life to hit you with a truck moment to change. You don't need to wait for a crisis to realign. It starts with self-awareness. Start asking yourself better questions. Where do things feel heavy? Where do they feel light? What feels like obligation? What feels like desire? Once you're aware, you can strip back the noise, simplify, and start taking small intentional steps back towards alignment. I've been noticing this recently, even in my own life, where small things are starting to click. People mentioning that they're seeing my podcast everywhere, and it's not about the validation. It's about seeing how every little step, every moment I've felt unsure, uncomfortable has been stacking up. Alignment feels like momentum. It feels like energy. It feels like everything's starting to fall into place because you're finally showing up in a way that's true to you. Something else that I've noticed, especially in the guests I've had so far, is that people often wait until something major happens, like a breakup or a health scare or a loss, before they allow themselves to change. But you don't have to wait. You can decide now. You can choose now to stop playing small, to stop waiting, to start leading your life on your terms. The truth is, change is uncomfortable. It requires you to let go of old versions of yourself, the habits, the identities, the beliefs that no longer fit. But if your why is strong enough, your desire will outweigh the fear. The discomfort is temporary. The growth, the alignment, the fulfillment, that's on the other side. So, whether you're noticing yourself waiting for permission, feeling out of alignment, or just knowing deep down there's something more, you don't need anyone's green light. You don't need to have it all figured out. And yes, you might cringe a little along the way, but trust me, the cringe is part of it. You'll listen back, laugh at yourself, and realize that's exactly where the magic happens. So, this episode is short and sweet, just coming in to share some little insights, some little lessons. And as I mentioned, every solo episode is going to be different. And I want to share just things that I'm learning through the process of all of this as well. So thank you so much for being here with me today, for tuning in, for walking on this journey alongside me. If something has landed for you in this episode, please share, subscribe, or send me a DM. I genuinely love hearing what resonates. So next week, as I mentioned, I'm joined with Nadine. Trust me, her story lit a fire in me, and I have no doubt it will do the same for you. So until then, keep evolving, keep owning your voice, and remember, every moment is an opportunity to create your own conversations that count. And if all else fails, picture me saying, "Oh, I love that," and just keep going.